What's going on, Cowboys Nation? Welcome to another episode of Cravin Cowboys. As you already know, it's your girl Mickey, and I got my guy Sports Junkie in the building. What's going on? How you doing, fam?
I'm good.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Hey, my family in the building. Tavis in the building. What's going on? Of course, Nisi always in the building. What's going on? How you doing, sis? Good to see you, Jameson Taylor, always in the building as well. Good to see you. Hey man, I'm glad everybody in the building. Like I said, make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the share button. Thank you for joining us. Like we just, gonna talk a little bit of Cowboys with you guys tonight. As you know, we got the Eagles coming up. We just had, as you know, they've been calling it the second trimester really come to an end with our win against the Seahawks. And we're just gonna, kind of give our opinion, really quickly of just kind of how we came to this. The Cowboys came to this moment, and just kind of give our thoughts on how we think we'll be able to go up against the Eagles, and how this rematch will go. So I'm just, if you want to go ahead and kick it off, Sports Junkie, just kind of give your thoughts on not just the past couple of weeks, but really just this trimester in general as after the Cowboys came back from the bye week, and really just give your opinion on how you think they've been playing.
I think the Cowboys is the only team in the NFL that's a whole different team this season. You know what I mean? I feel like after the bye week, I'm not sure if it was all planned this way, you know what I mean, or Mike McCarthy planned it this way, or he just got to the point where I got to take a chance and just let Dak do his thing. I don't know if he was handcuffing or not. But what I do know is ever since that bye, even with our losses, it's just been a different team. You know what I mean? It's a whole different offense. The offense is different. It's more aggressive.
Right.
I heard Dak say something in one of the interviews. He know what Mike McCarthy calling before it even come in. So that means they're on the same page. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
I think it's a whole different offense. All around. You know what I mean? Same players, different offense. That's what I believe. Even with Cooks is more involved now. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Ferguson is coming along. Offensive line has to have more time to play with each other and get out. I think it's just a whole different team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with you, fam. And I think, like you said, with the play calling and Dak kind of knowing what McCarthy is going to call before he even calls it, and I actually kind of see like the confidence level has really gone up as well. since the start of the season. And as we see with some of the third down calls, the fourth down calls, when they kind of pan to the sideline, we see McCarthy already putting the call in. Really not even having any question if he wants to go for it. And I'm really, convinced that I'm sure going into the Seattle game. Not saying that he, probably knew that they wouldn't have any punts, when they came out of the game. I'm sure he told Brian Anger, like, "Hey, man, we may not necessarily need you that game," because I'm sure he kind of went to the game knowing that he was going to be aggressive. Like, I'm sure they didn't expect some of the situation that came up. They came up against with Seattle playing the way because they came out aggressive as well. But I'm sure that he knew at some of those maybe third and short, maybe fourth and two, fourth and one situations that he knew he's probably that of course who's going to punt in that situation. You know what I mean? So I'm sure he kind of went to this game kind of with the mentality that he was going to come in aggressive.
Mike McCarthy showed me how aggressive he was when he took a lot of slack for it, but I didn't mind it. I forgot it was like, I think the game was it was almost over. Instead of running the ball and making them run the clock so they get the ball back with like a minute left instead of a minute 40, when he went for it, when Dak threw it the CD, I wasn't mad at that play. That shows me we trying to go for the win. We ain't playing around. We're not, what I'm saying? We're not doing that, and so that showed me all I need to know. Now, he got killed for that. But if CD would have made that play, it would have been like he's the best coach. He called the best, so I don't think in hindsight. I think what I would have done in that moment, and I ride with it.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So he showed me that.
And we saw, and actually when like you said, in hindsight, but we even saw when they ran the replay back, the ball placement. And even CD said he was the only one who touched the ball in that situation. So even he said he should have came down with it. So to be just like you said, I'm with it too. Like to see that aggressiveness in that scenario, to not be afraid to know that number one, to go to your best guy, and he's being double covered because that, like you said, Dak got killed for that before, like not going to your number one receiver. Even though he's being double covered, and that was kind of something he received flack for before. So to see Dak, number one, had the confidence to go to him, and then and even CD kind of taking up for like, hey, I should have came down with it. And like you said, with McCarthy coming up with the play call, it's like everyone's kind of operating on a different level as far as confidence, and also just kind of being like you mentioned earlier, just being on the same page with each other.
Right. We gelling, and this is the perfect time to gel.
At the right time, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Now, if this would have been flipped around, we'd have problems right now. They were playing like that in the beginning, and now they're playing how they were playing that, whatever they want to call it, man. In the Texas coast or West Coast, I don't know what they was called.
Yeah.
But this right here is
definitely evolved from from what we thought what the offense is going to look like this year.
Right.
Yeah, and Taylor says and I agree with you on that. The same, I'm on the same page with you. I agree that we should have ran because Seattle had no timeouts. But that's like you said, we can talk about it in hindsight, but I do like the aggressiveness. I do see both sides. I like the aggressiveness, but at the same time, in that scenario, especially, like I said, like I mentioned in my show the other day, I think we just got just a little bit lucky that Seattle's defense wasn't greater than. We know there's better defenses in this league that we probably wouldn't be able to. We probably been in trouble in scenarios like that. So running the ball. Depending on who we go against, I can see us kind of running the ball. Just kind of get in. We got the win. Kind of come out. You never know how games are going to end. Sometimes I definitely see both sides.
I agree. I agree with him. But see, the thing about it is, I would have done it both ways and got the same outcome if I ran the ball. See, when Dak dropped that back to throw that ball, if CD wasn't wide open, it wasn't going to be a completion. He could have just kneeled down, and took the sack. We was already in field goal range. The clock's still going. It's not like a sack is going way back. It was only going to be like an extra 5-10 yards, something like that. I would have just kneeled down and took the sack. The clock would have still ran. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm not really tripping on it. You know what I'm saying? But I want to play to win. I don't want to play not to lose. You know what I mean? And I ride with that. You know what I mean? I'm gonna ride with it. So, and we got to stop. So.
Yeah, I feel you on that. And I think Mike McCarthy, to your point, Taylor, I think Mike McCarthy does have a little bit better management of the clock this year, because we definitely see. We don't see as many scenarios where we're afraid of what we're going to do with the last 2 minutes of the game, or even going into halftime. We see even just from the 49ers game, he's improved in that aspect. We saw him be kind of conservative. We've seen him kind of, not necessarily go deep into his bag as far as play calling, but we even seen, just the confidence level, them adding in motion, kind of looking around the league just to see what's working and trying it out with our offense, with our playmakers. They have the ability to, to execute some of these plays. I just like that, just how open Mike McCarthy is to, and we even hear about players, Brandon Cooks, CeeDee Lamb going up to him, offering up, what they see out there, with their own eyes, and
Right. Right.
And just knowing that he can, and not just, kind of taking up the role of coaching, but to also be able to balance, the role of play calling as OC. I think he's, we know he's done it before, but just to do it with this, these playmakers, this organization, and for them to be able to gel so quickly, learning a new offense. I think that
Right.
I think that speaks volumes about McCarthy.
Right. I agree. He need to probably have up be a better aware of clock management and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's give and take a little bit. You know what I mean? Like Mike McCarthy don't get enough credit because I'm starting to see the difference between Dak last year and like Kellen Moore, and I'm starting to see the difference between Dak this year. Then if you go look back at his career with Aaron Rodgers wasn't Aaron Rodgers like that when he first. His form was different. A lot of things was different. So I think Mike McCarthy needs to get more credit for Dak improvement. You know what I mean? It seemed like now and then if you look at it and compare it, now go look over there. Before the year, everybody said, and might still say, that Herbert is a way better quarterback than Dak. So Herbert should be doing better over there with Kellen Moore. If you know what I mean? So we have to give Mike McCarthy that credit. You know what I mean?
Definitely. And I think I was listening to Talking Cowboys when they actually kind of brought this up, where they mentioned like, they kind of had the question like, well, hasn't Dak always been, had this command over the offense, and hasn't he always been this leader? Hasn't he always had this? Hasn't he always had that? But you kind of, if people kind of look at it, Kellen, and I'm sure everybody can see it, Kellen Moore didn't share like his offense. It was his offense. So I think like, even though, I think off the field, Dak was his buddy. That was his really good friend. They were close. They were, they were that. But I think, I just in my opinion, I think Kellen kept his playbook close to the chest. So, when those times did happen where Dak would mess up and Dak was on the sideline looking like he lost, how we saw it, not, deer in the headlights, look, not knowing what's going on. But we didn't see the communication on the sideline with Kellen talking to Dak about, how this should have went or how that should have went. But we didn't see that. So I think that's always why the offense kind of remained stagnant, because there wasn't the communication that we see between Dak and McCarthy, but that should have been there between Kellen and Dak. So I just think that would play a big factor in why, Dak's leadership and his command of the offense didn't translate through Kellen's offense, because Kellen just kind of held it very close to the chest. So Dak didn't know what to explain in the huddle out there. He wasn't on that same page with Kellen. So yeah, they may have been very good buddies, but Kellen definitely wanted to have that control, over what he called.
This is what I think though. I think right now, if you bring Kellen Moore back, just for instance, if you bring Kellen Moore back, I think Dak can still put up stats. What I'm trying to say is this.
Yeah.
If you break down the film and look at the film, Dak is holding safeties in the middle of the field with his eyes. He has complete control of the whole offense. Like, I know you've seen what Aaron Rodgers said about him, right? Like, I understand he's playing the quarterback position this year. Like, he just doesn't have the label. You know what I mean? Dak is balling, and now he's starting to use his legs again, which make him more dangerous. You know what I mean? And then this Dak right here, even in his interviews, it's not that monotone. That stuff he used to say. He basically said, I don't even care about none of that, man. Like, you know what I mean?
And I noticed that, like, even back when they was in camp, and even before the season, where they were talking about trying to talk about his interceptions again, and he was like, okay, what about the year before that? The year before that? And I was like, he's not on his usual script. You know what I mean?
And you know why it's hard to give Dak Prescott praise? Let me tell you why it's hard. Because I ain't gonna say the media. I'm just gonna say people has painted this narrative of Dak, and he's a rose above each one. If you remember when Dak first came in the league, what they say about him, he was a hand the ball off to Zeke, play good defense. You know what I mean? Then after that, he became a game manager. You know what I'm saying? Then last year he was an interception. You know what I'm saying? Not like what are you gonna say now? You know what I'm saying? Then
they talked about interceptions up till training camp. Up till training camp. Oh, it's gonna be a whole year of interceptions again. Look at his training.
And then they said he was dink and dunk Dak, right? He was dinking and dunk Dak. But now all these other quarterbacks is dinking and dunking, and I ain't heard dink and dunk this whole season. I ain't heard that from no quarterback. And a lot of these quarterbacks is
Nope.
dinking and
And
dunking.
we ain't heard talk about Kellen Moore either. Ever since they went below 500, we haven't heard anything about the
Hey,
Chargers, Justin Herbert, Kellen Moore making their offense so much better. And
right.
it's funny. It's funny. And just like you just mentioned, just really a second ago about Dak still putting up numbers. If he were to come back, that was always the common denominator. Dak Prescott. Those years of number one offense, those years of number one in yards, passing yards, touchdown. That was always Dak. So they were always quick to give that credit to Kellen Moore, but it's kind of like off of what did Kellen Moore put forth to make you guys believe that it was him and not Dak Prescott?
Right. It was give and take. Both of them had a little thing, but I think Kellen Moore just wanted to do things his way. And sometimes Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott seem like they just seem like they gel together, man.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott and Kellen Moore, they just got along. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's a difference between somebody you get along with, but somebody you really mess with. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. And you see McCarthy just feeding Dak's like his talent. Like you see him kind of feeding into I would say you see him kind of nurturing Dak, like kind of just putting him in scenarios where because he's already going to be great. He's already that kind of quarterback. But you put him in scenarios where he can be great. You put him in a scenario where number one, he can make decisions. Like he never had this kind of command. Like they say when he has command, but he didn't have this kind of command under Kellen Moore.
Here we go.
Exactly. We heard like little snippets of it last year, but we never see him have this much control at the line of scrimmage. Being able to move people around, telling people where to go, knowing what to expect, checking into run plays, when it's smart, and I even saw clips, I might have thought even last year I thought I was tripping, but maybe now it's kind of looking back at it, like maybe he really was mad because you would see like when I think it was the Giants game, the last Giants game last year where Dak was checking into run plays or checking into the smart plays, and you would see Kellen looking annoyed on the sideline like, oh, that's not what I called, that's not what I wanted to go through, and it was like I think that's when Dak started to realize and just like Tay was mentioning, he won 13 personnel. We saw a lot of 13 personnel in the Giants game. I think Dak just has such an immense just not jumping too far ahead, but just Dak having that much. Just when he has that, like we talk about it off camera about the O-line improving in their play, but having some help there with the tight ends jumping in there. We know Jake Ferguson, has no problem blocking, and we just see the news about Hendershot coming back, so he can, if he has his block game up, you know what I mean. So, it was great having McKeon out there to block for us, like not sliding what McKeon has done because he's definitely there when we need him. But having the weapon with Hendershot coming in and just having those tight ends still be able to help when we do need to call upon them to help with the O line, you know what I'm saying? Because we are going to see some stout defensive lines going down the way.
Yeah, and just to put this out there, because I heard that he's going to be at the game Sunday, but just in case he don't, I wouldn't change nothing. I let Dak call his own plays. You know what I mean? Just in case Mike McCarthy not going to be there, I wouldn't mess up nothing. I would this going to be one of the first games that the quarterback called his own plays the whole game because he knows.
Yeah, and just like you said, they on the same page, so they probably already went over the game plan, what they were doing. So because number one, they already played them, so they probably are familiar with which situation that they're going to be in. So they, like you said, he probably could. He very well could.
You're right. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't change nothing. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't change a thing. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't change a thing. You know what I mean? I wouldn't let that.
The table, I'm sure we all seen, but when we seen Chargers quote unquote blow out Patriots 60-0, like really? That's what y'all praising Kellen Moore for. Yeah. So we kind of see where those in previous years where those number one offense, who was really responsible for the number one offense for the Cowboys. Like that's crazy. Like 6 points.
Yeah.
That's all you can dial up against the Patriots. Like I know Patriots are struggling right now, but that's all you can dial up with Keenan Allen. It's like every time I switch to the Chargers game, Keenan Allen was either dropping the pass or it's covered. It's like what's going on? You know what I mean? It's like
Dak done put himself in a position, whether we know it or not, whether we like it or not. They can cut Dak today, and damn near all the teams will pick Dak up. Dak done
They'll be clamoring.
These dudes just be talking because he's in a Dallas Cowboys. We all know that as fans. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. This dude is balling. You know what I'm saying? Right. Whether you want to admit to it or not. And if you
Right.
pick up the phone, I bet they can. Man, listen, I bet all kind of teams will pick up Dak, right
Yeah.
above some of you guys' favorite quarterbacks.
Right, exactly. And just like Cole's point, I'm not changing subjects, but like shout out to Cole's Cowboy in the building. Good to see you, fam. This is a huge take, and
Man,
I don't even say it's underrated, but Tyron Smith, number one, we always knew that he would play well, but for us to find out that he could play well without practice, like where was this the last couple of years? Like why didn't
listen,
we,
it's a
try this out
blessing.
before?
It's a
And shout
blessing.
out before you go, fam. Shout out to Stephen White in the building. What's going on, fam? How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you, fam. It's been a long time. Very happy to see you. All right, go ahead,
It's a,
fam.
it's a blessing. See, the offensive line get overlooked because they don't make the TV screen as much as the
Right.
receivers, the wide receivers, the quarterback, and all that. You know what I mean? But people don't understand. Offensive line is not really plug and play. You know what I'm saying? Like when you have a group that's been together, when they gel together, it makes a big difference. That's why it hurt us when we lost. I can't think his name. Is it Frederick, the center? When you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
Travis Frederick.
He
Yep.
was a big
Yep.
part of that. You know what I'm saying? Because he quarterbacked the offensive line. You know what I'm saying? So now
Yep.
our offensive line is gelling together at the perfect time. The perfect time. And that don't even need a lot of time, man. Just give him 2-3. He don't need a whole bunch of because he's already aware. Dak know exactly who coming, what
Right.
defense is. He's not going to take a lot of time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's getting
Right.
his
Yeah.
reads out. You know what I'm saying? So we don't need to hold up that long. And then on broken plays, he just running with the ball. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he not,
Exactly. And even just this past game with Seattle, we saw how comfortable he was. You know what I'm saying
yes,
about how the O line was operating. So I think
yes,
he's always had that confidence, but now he's had. I think this is their fifth game together, so they've been able to kind of. And I think before they played Seattle, they had 3 games in a row where Dak didn't even get sacked. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
that's huge for them to really just getting together, just really be able to get the chemistry together, fill each other out, and be able to really know what the person next to you is going to do. So, and I think
Right.
that's just been huge for their, like we just talking about for their chemistry and just being able for Dak to be able to cook back there in the pocket. I think that's huge for our team.
If that, and you got to understand this too. Every day going forward is a day further away from his injury. If Dak wasn't running the ball, he had more
Right,
interceptions and he had probably more sacks right now. When it ain't open,
right,
Dak is out. He out. You know what I'm saying? So he don't got to
yeah,
force nothing. It's not open. I'm out. And it's just that
exactly.
simple. It's just that simple.
No, I feel you, fam, and that's a good point because, just like you mentioned, he doesn't have to force anything. That's another thing that I like that, like we were talking about before. But since the bye week, they've included a lot of like a lot of shifts, a lot of motion in the offense. So we see CD, in motion in the backfield. Like we even see Turpin back there every now and then.
Yeah,
Brandon Cooks and every now and then will jump back there. You know what I'm saying? And it's good to see because it takes a lot of pressure off of Dak. He doesn't necessarily have to make the big plays anymore. He knows
right.
and that's another thing that I like, and not just a credit to Mike McCarthy, but also a credit to the front office finally jumping on board and getting us some playmakers because we kind of talked about Kellen Moore's offense and even just seeing kind of snippets last year. And we just being honest, we didn't have the personnel to really kind of have some of these things fully operate. So just being able this year to have a Brandon Cooks come in, to have Ferguson step his game up, for us to have Turpin finally utilize more in the offense. Not just kick returns, punt returns. Seeing him even get snatched out the backfield, it's good that we have these playmakers around that we can actually
Right.
kind of utilize.
Right.
Utilize the offense, even with the evolution of going through the Texas coast, trying to see what makes these guys comfortable playing to their strengths. Sending Turpin on these go routes and him, like we saw in the Thanksgiving
Yeah,
game, that
yeah,
touchdown was
yeah,
crazy. So
yeah.
just seeing
And
their strengths,
the wide receiver room is like brotherhood too because I seen a
right?
video when I think it was on Sounds from the Cow line, Sounds from the sideline. I think it was. I seen CD say, "Hey man, I wouldn't have caught that touchdown if it wasn't from him."
For Gallup, yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So
Gallup,
it's
yeah,
like they like listen, man. You
yeah,
know what
man,
I'm saying?
and that's wild because like, I saw I think I saw a tweet. I think it was maybe I forget where I seen it, but that CD pretty much means when he puts out he stands on what he puts out. So for him to
Right,
big up Michael Gallup and I'm sure they hear the narrative. I'm sure they hear what people say on Twitter that about Gallup not being important in the offense, this and the third. But for him to big up his guy because they've really been there from the beginning for each other. I think Gallup came in a year before or vice versa, but I know they kind of had that 1 year off from each other. But just seeing that they still have that brotherhood within each other, and then also like you mentioned the wide receiver room, just seeing the stability we have there, even with the I don't want to say the lower guys, but even with Jalen Brooks kind of getting some snaps in there, Jalen Tolbert, kind of getting active as well. So we know that we have a pretty stable wide receiver room where we can, call any of these guys up at a moment. So that to know that, and even McCarthy's not afraid he's not afraid to go to these guys, and Dak is showing his confidence in these guys as well, and they can add to the offense.
Yeah, and I'm starting to feel like I don't want to talk too soon, but if we go a little further in the playoffs than we usually do, I'm not saying the Super Bowl, we might need to give Jerry Jones an apology because he's seen something we didn't see. You know what I'm saying? But we were killing him. We were killing him for that trade. We're killing him.
Right. Yeah,
we're killing him. You know what I mean?
Even to this day, some of us still. Cause I ain't gonna lie. When I first found out that Leonard ended up going to Philly, I was kind of mad at first, but I kind of see.
I ain't mad about that. I ain't mad about that part. No,
I was. Yeah, I understand, but I guess I'll say more in general. Like I'll say more in general, like the trade 8, the week 8 trade deadline.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But what happens is, this is what happens, and I could be wrong. This is just my opinion. A lot of these guys don't even really have no intention on coming to Dallas. They use Dallas as a bargaining chip for the other team. You know what I'm saying? They come to. Why he didn't go to Philly first? Go visit them first, and they come to us. They come to us to bargain with the other team. You know what I'm saying? So I really don't. You know what I mean? Like, I think he could have helped.
I didn't know this at first, but just me, hearing more as it came out, like he already had ties with Sirianni from being in because I didn't know Sirianni was coaching at Indy, so I didn't know they had that tie. So if I was there before, I wouldn't even been worried about him coming here. Because I would go with my guy too. But like you said, why you coming here first? Like if you already gonna go there, and we saw this.
He's gonna use him as a. But the thing about that is, you're not gonna use Jerry. He probably walked in there. Jerry said, "We got this for you." That's it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And you don't, we're not gonna mess up our team. We got too many people we gotta pay.
Right.
You know
it's week 13. We're not going to kick to the side Marquise Bell. We're not going to kick to the side Damone Clark. And there's no disrespect to you, bro, but we already have like you said, we already have our system going, and Dan Quinn not gonna budge. You already know he got his favorites, and that's not shot to anybody, but. The people that are playing now are going to keep playing. So there's like you said, there's no way you're going to get more playing time than maybe what he was asking for.
Right. Exactly. So, I'm cool with this. What we got now. I'm willing to ride it all the way out. Cool.
I'm with you, fan. Because and even I wasn't feeling Jerry back when he said it during the trade, the week 8 trade deadline. But I do feel him that we can be confident in what we have, because we have and. It is always good to have depth. And I think I did just see that the Titans waived a linebacker. He's gonna hit waivers first, but I forget his name. I think his name is Rice or something like that. So
I didn't even hear it. Didn't even hear it.
We could possibly look into him, but like you said, I'm not necessarily mad. Like it's definitely important to have depth, but as far as who we have now stepping up to the plate right now, there's really, like I said, there's really no reason to mess with that. You know what I'm saying?
It's not really besides depth. You see, we picked up the receiver. You ain't heard his name since.
Right. And he probably, like you said, he knew coming in that he was going to be, a practice squad guy, developing, because he hasn't played for a while. So there's really no reason that he would come in and take anybody's spot, especially right now, late in the season, especially now.
I'm comfortable where we at.
I'm with you there, fam. So yes, speaking of the chemistry that the team has, just since the bye, we've seen a great jump as far as the progression of the offense, and I just kind of have, we just kind of have listed here just some people, not just players, but also factors of what has contributed to the growth of this offense and just how far it's come, really just within since the bye week. Of course, first and foremost, we have Dak Prescott, who's pretty much, the key, the engine to this offense. Who gets it going, gets the ball out to these playmakers. We've seen, from McCarthy's, I think, pretty much post game, is conference saying that the identity of this team now is not necessarily word for word ball distribution, but he's saying ball distribution is there of what they want to accomplish, getting the ball to our playmakers. We see them getting all the playmakers involved, from CeeDee Lamb, Ferguson Cooks. We have Pollard going out for receiver reps. Lining up as a receiver. And we see Rico Dowdle finally getting more reps. They kind of inserting him into the offense a little bit more. So it's good that McCarthy, number one, trusts these guys. And like we mentioned before, him not being afraid to go to these guys, even when they make mistakes, even when they don't necessarily accomplish what you want on that play. They don't have they're not afraid to go back to that guy. And also at the same time, the guy isn't afraid to to be also take that next step, to forget about that last moment that maybe went wrong, and to step forward and keep moving forward.
And let me tell you something else. This name on this list. You talked about Dak Prescott. I already touched on him and CeeDee Lamb. Who I want to give major props to on this list is Ferguson. All great quarterbacks, if you notice, always has a good wide receiver. Now I was kind of mad. I'm not going to front when we got to let Schultz go. But the way this dude is playing right here, with not even just his play, his attitude.
Exactly.
His attitude, you know what I'm saying? You know, and him running up them scenes, and him and Dak, that seam route they be doing, it's on point. Him and Dak, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So Ferguson,
he's giving Dak even more confidence, and it gives not just Dak, but it's giving the team even more confidence. Like, hey man, like this guy's going out here, you know, like he's going off out here. So you know, I can do the same thing too. Like, hey, and why not? Like we saw CD turning up, we saw Dak flexing in the guy's face. Like they're not like, and we really haven't seen that before. But like we very rarely see Dak, you know, talking shit on the field.
Right. He's done changed. Yeah.
The ref is right there, so it's not like he didn't see the ref. It's not like he didn't know the ref was behind him. He didn't like the ref was right there, and Dak was like, "Okay, what you gonna do? That's all you got."
Yeah,
like,
And then when he scored on Adams, see how he looked at him. Hey man, that's what I'm talking. That's what we need right there. That's what we need. Somebody in the locker room that's you know what I mean, on the field.
We always needed that. I think that's. I ain't gonna say we've lacked that, because we have seen leadership, you know, with D-Law and Curse on the sideline. But just in my opinion, I've seen that when things are going great, when things are going very good, and they're winning, and you know everyone's pumped up, and that's great to have. But when things aren't going, well, we want to see somebody who's gonna pump up the team. Like, hey, we're gonna get this, and of course, we've seen that with Dak lately. You know, having more control of the team this year, but just having that kind of spirit on the sideline, someone who gets the other guys fired up, you know, ready to get in the other team's faces, like we the baddest dudes out here. Like number one, you know, they're at home, so they have that much more confidence. But you know, they gotta defend their home, so you know, why not step in that dude's face? You know what I'm saying? Right.
But the thing about that is the last person that we had there, because I understand what you're saying about the players on the sideline, but I'm talking about on the field with the offense at that time. The last person we had doing that was Zeke. That's when he used to do the you know what I'm saying? Right. So now we got this dude, and it's rubbing off on everybody. You know what I'm saying? I even seen Cooks catch and get up talking crazy. You know what I mean? He's kind of quiet.
Right. And for real, I ain't gonna say I didn't expect it from Cooks, but like that was crazy. Like Cooks got in his face. I was like, wow,
so like, hey, you know what I mean? Like, listen, you know what I'm saying? So I think we right.
Check this out, Sports Junkie. Like Stephen White just said, we have Carl. We haven't even played yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I know we can get him more involved with the blocking game, but I love that they're giving Lipke more snaps. I love seeing him out there getting his feet underneath him, because we saw him in preseason. And not saying he's going to be a huge part of the offense, but just knowing that we can have that. We had that in our pocket. We have other things. We have Hendershot coming back. They decided to activate him, and I'm actually shocked. I thought they were maybe, you know, because he hadn't. Not saying he hasn't seen the. There's no slight saying that he hasn't seen the field all season, but he didn't have a great camp. He didn't have a great, week one. So, he didn't have the greatest of confidence in him when he was on the field. So for them to, and maybe he's had work, since he's been off the field working through the injury, it was a shocker to see him actually go on IR, but to see him be able to come back this late in the season, I think he can still make an impact, because we know number one, like we just talked about Jake Ferguson, the chemistry they already have, coming from last season. So I think it's going to add, if it's possible, even more of a spark to this.
He's tight end one. Jake Ferguson's tight end one.
Yeah.
He's tight.
Yeah, right.
If anything, we're gonna have depth. You know what I mean? I think they got a plan.
I'll let me cut you off. But that's one thing. Like Ferguson, like you said, he's tight end one, but really this season so far, he's really been the only tight end. Like we've seen McKee in there, but we really haven't. Like, not saying he hasn't had a break. We do have other wide receivers, but we have yet to see another tight end step up. And yeah, we've seen Schoonmaker out there doing some things, but let's be honest, he's a rookie. Second round pick, they're forcing him out there to try to get him ready, because Hendershot wasn't ready, and we did lose Steven. So to finally be able to give Ferguson, maybe a break, and now give him even more break to catch his breath on the sideline, but also at the same time have another weapon out there to still be able to contribute to the offense, because we're not going to get out of McKeon what we're going to get out of Hendershot. Because Hendershot did make an impact, but he does have things to improve on. So
the thing about
Go ahead.
The thing about Ferguson is, if nothing else, he takes away the regret of letting Schultz leave.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
you know what I'm saying? So, because that's what the thing was beginning of the season. The Cowboys, I even said it. I'm not going to even sit up here. You know what I mean? Like, man, they should let Schultz.
Right.
Hey, but I haven't thought about that dude since this dude started balling.
Right, for real though. For real though,
As long as he play like that, you know what I'm saying? And he's big, physical, you know what I'm saying? Them linebackers he be lining up with, and he's a good blocker.
You ain't gonna see Schultz out. You ain't gonna see Schultz out there stepping in nobody's face, saying first down and Quandre Diggs' face. You're not gonna see that out of Schultz.
Yeah. Man.
What's crazy is like on that what really got me is like on that 3rd and 18 where Ferguson got the full 18 yards. I'm like, what are we talking about?
Yeah. Some people said, when Dak ran out and just checked it down. When he ran out and just checked it down, he got the I thought that was a dead play, but yeah, you know what I'm saying? And then when
that's that dude, I'm like, bro, like and that's always been his thing, the yak yard, that's always been Ferguson, but to see him execute it and to see him actually get 18 yards, to see him, like you said, to actually see him like and like you said, it looks like check down plays, but to see him actually make converted, to see him actually make big plays out of what should be a check down play is huge.
And he's running to contact. He ain't, you know what I mean?
He's not afraid of
it. Just like when he took that big hit, I think it was
a couple of them,
I know, but that one might have been a helmet to helmet though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was.
That's what sparked him when he got up talking stuff. You know what I mean?
Diaz was right there asking him if he was okay, and that's when he hopped up talking about some first down.
Yeah. We need that. So I'm happy. I'm happy with the offense.
Me too. And another thing I want to point out, I love, I'm sure as everyone's seeing, like I love how they're feeding CeeDee Lamb. Ever since he came out saying, "Hey, give me the ball," and you actually brought that up before too.
I was getting ready to say that. When you and Star.
Yeah, before the same.
You and Star, y'all got on me about that.
No, I don't. Hey, look, fam. I was there with you, fam. Look. I remember you saying it. You said it.
Yeah. It's feeding. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, here number one. You got to feed him. I don't care what they're trying to stop. You know what I'm saying? Your number one should have X amount of targets. You should go into every game saying he gonna get X amount of targets.
Right.
Period.
Right.
Period.
Like ever since then, I think every game has been at least a 10+ target game for CeeDee.
Right. And then when he get going, it opens up the field for everybody else.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You gotta go to him.
We see that with Ferguson and Cooks, and like even when Jalen Brooks came in, we've seen a lot of other guys getting involved. Like Stephen White said, this is Dak's first full offseason in training camp in many years. We can see a difference in him and his targets. And that's a huge point.
Facts.
And that's like you said, and we've seen him, of course, go through things with the injuries he had in the past, with the calf, with his arm. When he was fighting to come back from another injury, he put in another. I'm not gonna say he put it upon himself, but he was trying so hard to come back. He put strain on his own shoulder to try to come back and help his team. So that we always knew just the toughness that Dak had, but for him, he strained himself to come back. So he, like you said, he's never had a full to where he didn't have to worry about having to do rehab. He had to worry about whether he was ready or taking limited snaps. He was full on go.
Right, but I also believe it's not just the ability or Dak getting better. I think the difference I see in Dak this year is Dak always said he didn't listen to the media and he didn't care. I think he was just talking. But now I don't think he cared. I don't think he cared. I don't think he cared. I think he's playing free. I think now this is the freest I feel that Dak has played.
And he has the foundation to stand on with the locker room and the coach having his back because they're speaking out about it too.
Yes. I think Dak is playing free. I think they're playing free. I think he don't care about what I believe that. He cussing in the media now. Hey, listen, I believe him now. I didn't believe him at first. I didn't believe him. You care. You hear what they saying, but now I don't even think he care, man. You know what I mean? He don't force nothing. He ain't trying to force it. Dak is playing free. He's gotten better and he's healthy.
Exactly, and I love that. And just having not just the support off the field, but on the field as well. We see the guys stepping up. We see, and they talked about this. I think in Shawnee's press conference.
That baby, you're right. Yeah.
That
Yeah, that
too.
might be another thing, man.
That strength, and actually Wanye Thomas, because he was actually a guest spot. He had a guest spot on Girls Talk Boys Talk today. He talked about that too, because as we know, he's expecting he has a baby on the way as well, and he
Right.
said for himself, that dad strength plays a huge role in knowing what what responsibilities you have coming forth in the future.
But
So just knowing that.
but listen, this is how you know it's about Dak. Now all these quarterbacks and receivers and people throughout the league have kids all throughout the year, off season, during season. Dak have a baby, they killing him on the internet.
Right.
Did you see that?
Right. And first of all, it's news. Like you said, anybody else have a baby, it's not even you don't even know about it unless the player brings it up. But that it's national news.
I can't think of the guy's name on that sports channel. He said some crazy stuff about Dak, bro, that's how you know Dak don't care, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's healthy, free. He's got better in Mike McCarthy.
And he has control.
And they all rocking with him. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And it's crazy that you never and I'm sure people they talk about in the past. I'm sure people ask themselves he's been there for 8 years. He's been the quarterback. Why? What's different in this year? But just as the things that we just named, he's never had this complete package, a complete hold on the organization. He's never had just complete free reign. He always, not saying he had things controlling him, but he did have full command because it was Kellen's offense. And we know he's not close with Jerry, so I'm sure he's not in his ear about what players they should get or what he thinks about the game plan or what he thinks about certain things. So I'm sure there's always that disconnect. So I'm not saying that's there now, but I think it's just we see more of a gelling amongst the players and also amongst the staff with the players. You know what I'm saying? So we just see a chemistry just really amongst, and we see the front office coming around too. Letting McCarthy run things. So that's a big thing too.
Turn me the F up.
Right.
Ain't that what he said when he came off the sideline the other day?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
He said it's y'all turn.
Y'all turn. We did our y'all turn. They hiding turkeys and listen, hey man, hey, you know what I'm saying? Hey, Mike McCarthy ain't tripping, you know what I'm saying? I think Jerry is still being Jerry, but Jerry is kind of letting Mike McCarthy. All right, man, you want to kill him more goals?
He said let the kids play.
Yeah,
let the kids play. He doing, he just doing that. He good.
Yeah,
even back when they asked Jerry, McCarthy seems to have an attitude. What's going on? He earned that. He good. But Jerry said, look, he good. He doing what he need to do. What's next? What's the next question?
He let him do his thing. You know what I'm saying? You want to kill him more gone? This better look right.
Right. Look,
you know man. Hey, and that's probably what made Mike McCarthy go from that Texas, whatever. Jerry probably, look, bro, you wanted this man gone. You need to fit. You know what I'm saying? Let's get this right, or you up out of here.
Exactly. And just like Stephen White said, they're veterans now. They don't want to watch this from. I'm with you. They want to watch it from home. And just on your point about them being veterans, having that mix of veterans but also young guys, but at the same time, the veterans are making the young guys feel like veterans. They even told DeRon Bland, hey man, you're not a rookie no more. You making big plays. You're not a rook. Even Wanya, he's making big plays. They're not looking at him as a rookie. Marquise Bell, they're not looking at him as a young guy anymore. All these guys are stepping up to where they're making that much of an impact that all these guys they're treating each other with that much respect to where they feel like that they're all on the same level. No one's looking down. No one's afraid of their job being taken or this guy out to get this out to get that. It's just everyone's on that same with the same goal. Just really on the same page. Hey, shout out to you, Tyrone Church in the building. What's up, man? How you doing?
Let me tell you something else I heard Dak say.
Mm-hmm.
That's done contribute to his success. He said that dude out there just broke an NFL record, pick sixes. What do you think I go against in practice?
Right. You heard that.
You know what I'm saying? These dudes
they make us better, he said.
Yeah, they make us better. You know what I mean? They disguise in all these schemes. They got listen.
Right. Yeah, he said y'all just now seen it because y'all ain't see us in camp. But y'all, like you said, I get this I've been getting this since camp. Or he's like Dak said that. So
right. You know what I'm saying? Another thing, I know we led the league in takeaways the last couple of years or whatever, but I think this is one of the years that a lot of pressure used to be on Dak. I have to go score all these points for us to win. The defense is scoring, the special teams is scoring, the whole team is a team. It's
Yeah,
literally countrymental. You know what I mean? Complementary football.
yeah,
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying?
Everyone's
You
doing
feel
their
me?
job and stepping up, and like you said, like you said earlier, everyone is clicking at the same time. So
Right.
everyone's kind of there. Everyone was kind of like on the same like learning curve as far as the offense. You know, the new offense. Everyone had to learn at the same time. It's new to everyone. So for it to be clicking at the same time for everyone, like you said, on offense, defense, and that's another key that maybe people forget about with special teams as well. Like
Yeah.
people, they talk a lot about Bones Fossil, and even Wyatt spoke about this too when he was on there about Bones Fossil playing a huge. They were saying that he even said that if it wasn't for Bones, like he might not even made the team. So Bones Fossil plays a huge role with some of these players coming on and having that confidence. Because we know when players come on, they
Right.
got to be on special teams. That's how they get their feet
Yeah.
underneath them. They
Yeah.
got to get used to the
Yeah.
speed of the game. So
Yeah. We
that's
got
how these
somebody. We got
feel. So,
somebody that you might not. We got somebody that you might need to think. Should we kick this ball to him or should we kick it out of bounds?
right, exactly. You know
Because he
what I'm saying?
might. You got to think. You know what I mean? You kick this to him, he might.
And I'm sure they
You
put
know.
this much emphasis on special teams, but when you have these gunners, when you have a Turpin, when you have a I don't know, is a good one, CJ Goodwin, when you have a special team person who can teach literally before the game, teach these young guys to get I think it was a field goal block and the running back for a touchdown. When you have
Right.
this specialty on special teams, like that's huge. Not just having playmakers on offense on defense, but special teams can sometimes make the difference in a game.
Yeah. We gelling. We gelling. We good. I think the whole team is good. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Especially the offense.
Yes, and so like you said, like, at the right time, like we always had this confidence in the defense, and hopefully, and they can get back to the level they were playing with at the beginning of the season. Like this team could really be lights out, like because for both sides, like you said, we're clicking at the same time, you're playing at that high level, would just really just be insane.
We deep. You right. We deep.
Yeah, yeah. On both sides of the ball, and even special teams. Like we see Ghostin. We see even though Ghostin, and he's in there on defensive snaps as well. But he's making. I think he had that fake touchdown in the beginning of the season. So just seeing even players that you wouldn't expect, having an impact, in the game, scoring points. You know what I mean? So it's huge. So just not jumping too far ahead, but just kind of looking at we know we had the Eagles coming up next. I think I mentioned in my last show that the Cowboys had the fifth strength. I think the fifth strength of schedule left in the league. I think they have a winning percentage. The opponents they have their winning percentage of over 60%. So they definitely have a gauntlet coming up. But if they just take it one game at a time. Not looking ahead, but just looking at the Eagles. Just in general, we played them before. We got similar what kind of game plan we have to come at them with, but just not making the same mistakes that they made in the previous matchup. And they had I just kind of put Carpe Omne here, just seizing everything. We see these guys just have really a different mentality this season. Just leaving no opportunity on the field. There have been times where they have left points on the field, but we do see these guys give their all on the field, and we see that they kind of stepped up. Just in my opinion, in the just in the way they play, just kind of the physicality, like you see, not just the attitude, mental part of it, but just also being physical on the field and lining up against that guy and letting him know that you're going to win that rep. That it's going to be, you had the ball in your hands, but they got to take control of their position on the field to be able to line up against, because they're going to be going up against these like McCarthy mentioned, these playoff teams. But what's good about it is that they don't have right now playoff consequences.
Right. As far as the Philadelphia Eagles, which is the first game we got in that gauntlet that everybody keeps saying.
Right.
When we left the field, when we lost to the 49ers, it wasn't like we left the field when we lost to the Philadelphia.
Right.
We felt like we should have won that game. You know what I mean? 49ers kind of humbled us, for lack of better words. Yeah. But when we lost that Philly game, we felt like that's why they weren't even mad. They were upset, but they wasn't like, it was kind of like
they weren't tripping.
So I think now you got to come down here to us. We almost beat y'all in the link as y'all, like, you know what I'm saying?
Right, in your house.
Now y'all got to come down here. And you know what I'm saying? Y'all got to come down here. You know what I mean? I think the pressure on them.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Because we were just down. Yeah, and see, Philly is a good team still, right?
Yeah.
But Philly been skating by the whole year.
Right.
Minnesota beat themselves. We seen the Bills game, dude wide open in the end zone. Patrick Mahomes, his receivers missing. His receivers missing, dropping catches. That y'all been skating. Yeah, I've been skating by the whole year, man. Dallas has been playing consistent football since that bye week. Win or lose.
Right. Period.
Win or lose. Consistent football. And I don't
Yeah.
think nothing changed. You know what I'm saying? I think we're
Yeah.
gonna go in there. I don't even think it's gonna be a close game. You know what I mean? I know it's a division rival, you know what I mean? So I'm not trying to I don't want to sound delusional or nothing like that, but
Yeah.
I just think me personally, if you take away the biasness, I just think we're a better team than them. Like all
Yeah,
around.
right. Like honestly, like you said, we've had that time to where we've and not saying that the Eagles haven't built this chemistry with each other to where they're a better team now, because everyone grows during the season. Everyone learns each other during the season to where they become a better team. Hopefully, that's the goal of every team, to be able to become a better team late in the season. That's when you need to peak, at the right time, but not early in the season, late, at the right time during playoffs. So
Right.
just knowing that we've been able to kind of build this chemistry amongst ourselves, and even just watching this past week's game, I know it's week to week, but right now we're like you said, total as far as total football, we've been playing like you said complete football since the bye week. We haven't seen that since like either their defense is stepping up or their offense. We've even seen Jalen admit in some post game that he played horrible, but their offense played horrible. But the defense was able to step up. Even in that Chiefs game, they were able to step up. Yeah, the Chiefs did make mistakes, but the defense was able to step up to to keep them from scoring in the second half. But just seeing that, like you said, just right now, like here in week 13, like you said, in your opinion, also in my opinion, we're playing better complete football on both sides, and even the third side of the ball, because those guys are able to step up and make those plays. And before we go any further, shout out to Choctaw in the building. What's up, fam? How you doing? And of course, we have Eastside Harold in the building. Hey, shout out to the Texans because I ain't even gonna say that with an attitude, but shout out to the Texans because they are doing pretty well this year. But I mean, that's good for you, Eastside. AFC South, we ain't got to worry about that because it's not our division, so we're not really worried about what the Texans gonna do. But we have a chance. That's the thing about. This is a little side note, right? But that's the thing about when you don't really win the division like that, you don't know that there's a bigger picture than winning the division. So even if Dallas, you may be right, we may not win the division. We may get, we may actually get stuck with the wild card spot. But that's the thing. We can still, who will be playing at the wild card spot? We're gonna be playing the NFC South, Eastside Herald. So we may not win the division, but we still have
Atlanta,
exactly, or the Saints or Tampa Bay. So we may not win the division, but that's not necessarily the path we gotta take to get to where we want to go. So, and shout out to the Texans. Like I said, they're doing well this year. But we ain't gotta worry about that.
Listen,
hey, and we ain't gonna see y'all the Super Bowl. We ain't gonna see y'all the championship. So,
hey, I wanna say something real quick.
Hey, go ahead, fam. Hey, go ahead, fam. I'm with you.
I don't like to say this, you know what I mean, because I don't like to hear people kill me and they say make excuses. But man, I don't know if the Philadelphia done paid the refs, because these dudes has been getting away with all even that game against Dallas. Now I say we lost. I'm not making we lost. We lost the game.
Yeah.
But dude, some of these calls, I'm looking at the dude grab his face mask. I'm looking at the dude. I'm looking at these things.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
I did hear that I do really agree with, and I do take into account that this ref thing has really been. It's not been across all games, but it has been happening not just with Philly. It has been happening across the league. It has been happening in other games where you see just crazy calls not being made or crazy calls being made that don't make sense.
Did you see that video on YouTube? 40 missed calls.
No,
it's a video on YouTube for the Dallas Cowboy Philadelphia game. 40 missed calls. And they break down and show you every call that they missed, man. Then you can and then some of them he didn't even count, and it was still 40.
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean that is wild, and that's a good point. Yeah, it is mainly in Philly, Kelvin. It do be mainly in Philly. So that's definitely I'm definitely not missing that point.
Yeah, so I'm talking to some Cowboy fans right now, so I can say that, but I wouldn't say that to nobody else because I don't want to hear them. The excuses because we lost. We
did see in the other game. We seen when Philly played Miami. We seen some questionable calls. We seen when they played the Chiefs. Like it just seemed like it always goes their way. And like you said, fans play. They only and like Tavis even mentioned the fake PI call against Gilmore. They played us that was insane. You know what I'm saying? The flag was all the way behind the ref. So
but we just gotta play our game. Don't worry about the refs. You know what I mean? We got Philly. I'm kind of glad Seattle put up the fight that they did. I think
Yeah,
that
yeah.
that helped us. You know what I mean? I think our defense was a little tired.
That's a huge point. That's a huge point. Let's talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think our defense was a little tired that game. You know what I mean?
Yes.
We had just played 3 games in 12 days or something like that. So I
Right.
think, and the defense has won us some games. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
done kept us in some game stuff, so they get a pass. You know what I mean? They just had an off night. You know, we won the game. They stopped when we needed to. The last last 3-4 downs, we stopped them. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
and that's
saying?
huge. And I don't mean to cut you off, but that's huge because it was just in the Panthers game that they allowed 3 fourth down conversions, I think in the second half alone. So that's for them to have that much of a turnaround, especially like you said, against a team like the Seahawks, who like to be aggressive, who are known to go for it on third and fourth downs. So I think,
Right.
like you said, for it to be a team like Seattle, I think that gives us really a great setup for a team like Philly.
Yeah, and then we speaking about our defense. We forgot that Diggs is hurt. Like we doing all this without one of our maybe our best player under Michael
Right.
Parsons. Maybe you know what I mean. So I think we're good. I think we're hitting our stride right when we need to. You know what I'm saying? I think we need to take a game at a time. Don't worry about the Bills and none of these other teams because I don't feel
Right.
like it's a gauntlet like people saying. Not the way the Cowboys is playing. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Maybe that Texas Coast offense they had going on down there,
Yeah.
maybe that. But
Yeah.
this right here,
And started putting things together. Like, yeah, it would have looked like a gauntlet. Like, honestly,
yeah,
yeah.
I
How they were
don't
playing
feel.
that first, I would say, like, just going back to the first trimester of the season, like those first 6 games or first 5, 6 games before the bye week. I would say, yeah, it would have been a gauntlet, like how we were playing then, still trying to get the run game going, still trying to figure out
Yeah,
how to work our
yeah,
receivers, how to set these seam routes down the field. But now actually seeing that, seeing what these playmakers can do, putting like I think they mentioned it in Schottenheimer's press conference, putting these guys in the right spots, in certain spots on the field, and giving them enough space to be able to have those yak yards. Being able to give Ferguson that ability
yeah,
to get those 18 yards. You know what I mean? Giving Turpin the ability, maybe even on the end around or a screen, and giving him that space to get the first down. Even with the way they're utilizing Tony Pollard, having him, and he's getting his feet back underneath him. That's good to see from
right,
him. So just
right.
seeing that, and now that's also a big thing. I just want to make note on with Jeff Glasgow coming back. He was out, so we did see that in the beginning of the season they were just kind of running Tony up the gut. But now with Glasgow back, he's able to use Tony in situations he's familiar with, and the same thing with Rico. And just in some of those power situations, even some goal line scenarios.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
see we're seeing the end zone again. So it's good to
yeah,
see that these guys are able to play to their abilities.
yeah. And they've got to the point where they're subbing each other out.
Yeah, exactly. And
You
they
know what
know
I'm
when
saying?
to.
Yeah,
Right.
hey, you need a breather. You know what I mean? Come
Right.
here.
Exactly. Yeah, Rico in there. We saw
Yeah,
Simon like
yeah.
Tony saying that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. You know what I'm saying?
It's,
So it was kind of like at first I think it was coaching, but you know how Zeke and Pollard was. Zeke would come out.
right.
I think
It
they're
kind of
putting each other in. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
hey, listen, I feel good. This team is
Yeah.
making me very happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't really have too many complaints.
Yeah, me either. Yeah, honestly, like I just looking back on some of these numbers from the last Philly game. Like I just think I kind of talked to you about it before we kind of jumped on here, but I just think time has really just been one of the biggest factors. Like I think over time our O line has improved play. Like I know we did just have, I think it was 4 sacks last week, but I think we know we're going into, we faced this D line before. We've seen their habits before. So I think we're going to have a better idea kind of going into this game, hopefully how to protect Dak just a little bit better. Like we have, I don't know, I'm assuming Henderson's going to be back for this game, but hopefully, we have some of that help at the goal line to be able to, hopefully, like I said, keep Dak upright, protect him so he can wait for these long plays to develop, be able to get the ball out of the pocket.
Right. Well, that game right there, that 5 sacks, that was that. What is that? The Philly game? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we good. You know what I mean? Like, as long as it's not like 4 or 5 sacks, I don't really, you know what I mean? Because sometimes it can be the offensive line can hold up, and sometimes the quarterback held the ball too long. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but the way Dak is playing is helping the offensive line because they don't really got to hold up that long because he's making the decision is already made. You know what I'm saying? In his head, he
Right.
already most of the time he know what he's doing, And last game, I seen Dak go from 1, 2, 3 back to 1.
Yeah.
I seen him go from his first, second, third read, then he went back to 1. Dak is analyzing the whole field. He's controlling that offense, and that's helping that offensive line. They're playing good anyway, right? But by his performance, is helping them out because they don't have to hold up that long. Less holding calls. We don't got all these holding calls. Because when the quarterback hold the ball all day, that's when all these holding calls get called and stuff like that.
I think it's a huge point. Like we mentioned earlier, with Dak and McCarthy being on the same page. Like you said, yes, he was going through his progressions, but like to already kind of know, because we even seen a couple times when I know Tolbert isn't a huge part of the offense, but you can kind of see on the direction of Dak's head that Tolbert was already the target on that play. So we just like you said, already coming out on the same page, knowing who you're going to, and just knowing how that play. You're not going to know how that play is going to develop, but just knowing that that he's going to be the target on that play, that kind of gets you ahead of the game. That kind of gets you a step ahead of the defense. And one thing I want to talk about, that Schottenheimer mentioned in his press conference about how, and it's kind of like a kind of a thing he kind of mentioned a lot of his pressers, is that they kind of, they do scramble drills, they do scramble plays. Oh. They kind of practice where the receiver has a reaction to Dak scrambling, but it's good that they prep for these moments, because they're able to have a one-up on the defense to where they know that when Dak kind of goes into scramble mode, if you will, that they know what kind of reaction to have before the defense.
And so it changes every week.
Yeah, exactly. So if they're able to have a step ahead, even we saw on the scramble drill, we just saw in this past game where Dak was able to get out of that sack, but he was able to find Tolbert on the sideline. So it's just crazy that you think that, not saying that these aren't scrambled, that they aren't unscripted, but it's to be able to have that preparation to know what to do in those situations before the defense, that gives your offense a big leg up on some of these opponents, because they're not going to know what to expect for your receiver to know where you're going to go and to be open and ready for that moment. That gives Dak a whole lot more confidence than he would have.
Because he's aware of, he knows he's scrambling, so he's already aware. Okay, CD supposed to go deep. It's supposed to be a post. They already know, he's knowing where these dudes. It's not like a scramble drill. These dudes just trying to get open.
Exactly.
It's still inside the play. You know what I'm saying? It's just the second part of the first play. That's all it is. He's scrambling. I go to my second.
Yeah. And just like this is what they talk about. Like, because Schottenheimer, like I mentioned that a lot in his press conferences, where they, if anyone's familiar, they play above the 2.3 of the play, where above those 2 seconds, if you don't like you said, you don't want to hold on to the ball too long. You don't want any reason for it to get the defensive line any reason to get in that backfield. So you want to get the ball like that, whether it's a dump off, and that's why it's good for these guys like Ferguson, or like even CD, or even Brandon Cooks, if you find them in the right moment, to have those yak yards. You know what I mean? To be able to give them the space to be able to do their thing. So if you put them in the right position in the field, you don't have to worry about holding on to the ball too long, because the receivers are going to do their thing. You don't have to worry about doing too much. The Dak's job is to get the ball out, and then they take the ball the rest of the way.
Yeah, but they have good camaraderie, because if you see that game, well, not even a certain game, but you see, everybody know how good Patrick Mahomes is, right? And him and his receivers been not on the same page. Dak has been throwing. I seen a couple plays when they froze it. The ball was out of Dak's hands on his way, and the receiver hadn't even turned around yet. Exactly. So Dak knew where that dude was going to be at before he know he going to be right there. You know what I mean?
And like you mentioned earlier, with the precision of Dak's passes. Like not saying the guy doesn't have to be ready, but he knows by the time he throws it and turns around that the guy's gonna have the ball in his hands.
That means that we on the same page. Because I'm throwing the ball right there in the end. You might run it out. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta know you running the end. You know what I'm saying? So they're on the same page. They're on the same page.
We saw when Philly played Buffalo, like we were talking about earlier, just how important it is. We saw on pretty much on the last play for Buffalo, how being out of sync is huge, because that could have been a game-winning touchdown. Yeah. But Josh Allen thinks the guy is I guess he thought he was gonna go to the right, and the guy ran a seam route. So it was like even you can have those crazy blip moments where you're just not on the same page, but they could be in critical moments where they could effectively cost you the game.
Right, but they've been doing too many of them though. Sometimes it can be like a freak player, but when you consistently doing that, that's a trend. That's a
right. I feel you. Yeah. So I think that's great that the coaches install some kind of, even I'm not gonna say a fail safe, because things could still and not everything is 100%, in this league, but to have this, to still have some kind of plan for when effectively things don't go as planned. When the play that you call doesn't go right, you still have that thing to fall back on. Like, okay, well, like you said, he's going to go deep. He's going to go to the right. He's going to go to the flat, or I can dump it
Right.
off the collar. He's going to be right there after he picks up the after he picks up the pass block. So it's just
Right.
good that these guys know where to be out in the field to know where to be at. Essentially, as it rings to the locker room. If you do your job, you know where to be at. The play should work out. Either way.
Right.
Yes, I think. Yeah, I think that's been huge for our team. So I think just going further down the list, the run defense has definitely improved. We saw last week Seattle was only they were missing Kenneth Walker. I think that was big for them, but then we were able to hold them. So I think 72 yards and rushing last week. So I think if we're able to hold Philly under 100 yards, last time they were able to get just over 100 yards, but I think we weren't able to stop them. I think we had not stopped them completely, but we did improve our run defense against them. But I think we're going to have to do a little bit more, because I Jalen Hurts is a little bit more healthy this time around. His knee isn't. I mean, I'm not saying I know for sure, but the last time we played them, Jalen Hurts' knee was a topic of conversation, saying that, and they're saying that's why he wasn't running as much. So that's not. That's not a topic this week. I think late last week he went out of the game, but I think they were saying that he had, he went in the concussion protocol, but he passed and everything. So they're saying that they're getting out. They're getting out.
He came back out, but I seen
He did, yeah.
I seen a video. I think his name is Okoye Media. Media. I seen a video him and Foots did yesterday. And that run, if you stop Philly's run game, Philly can be had all the time, because Jalen Hurts is not. He's almost one dimensional. You know what I mean? And you have to just keep him boxed in, and he'll run into a lot of sacks. When I watch that film breakdown, you just got to box him in. And I let him get to the outside, but we have to stop the run. Stop the run first, because what they.
I think someone said it earlier. We got to contain on defense.
Yeah, Swift. He gonna, as long as we stop him. You know what I mean? And I think we're gonna be. I think the run defense
and the same thing with Swift too. Not to cut you off, I think if we're able to stop Swift, because granted, last time we played him, he only had 43 yards, but I still think Swift is going to be a big part of their offense. I think he seems to be their kind of like their ace in the hole, if you will. Like they kind of they kind of dump off to him, or they kind of find him in late situations where they kind of got to get the ball out the pocket.
Right. So, but the thing about that is, a lot of times what you did last week kind of anticipates what you're going to do this week. You know what I'm saying? So Philly played San Francisco last week. What were they saying? We need to get back to the run game. So they're going to come to Dallas and try to get back to that run game.
Right. You saw it today. I don't know if you saw it on Twitter today, where they said they had a guy outside with a sign talking about some run the damn ball at West Coast Cowboy. That he started that. They were saying on Twitter that they had a guy outside the entrance to the practice or whatever, saying run the damn ball to Philly.
Yeah. So they probably trying to get back running it this week. You know what I'm saying? And then you don't think that our coaches has broke down that film against the 49ers?
Right.
Like our players are almost comparable, especially on defense, if not way better. You know what I'm saying? So they're gonna break down that film. It's a copycat league. You know what I mean? They're gonna stop the run, and hey, it might get dark in Dallas. It might get dark in Dallas.
Right.
If they, you know what I mean? I don't think they're gonna be able to do the ball.
Yeah, they got to come prepared. I think I saw someone mention earlier. I forget, but someone said, "I hope they play Rashaan Evans more." I think that's already granted. But we see his aggression. We see how he's willing to step up and hit. And he has some tackle for losses. And I think it's gonna be. I don't know if necessarily plays more, but I do too want to see him have more of a role, because we definitely need as much aggression as we can.
Who you take off the field though?
Exactly. I definitely don't want to take Marquise Bell off the field.
That's what I'm saying. In order to put somebody on, you got to take somebody off.
I feel you. No, I feel you, fam. So it's I definitely, like I said, I ain't taking Clark off either, because he's had some. He had a great last couple of weeks.
I want to say something. I want to give a shout out to Lewis, because he was getting killed last week.
Yes.
Last week, man, he made a couple crucial stops in that Seattle game.
Huge stops, bro.
Huge stops. So I want to,
because even when I forget who he was. I think he might have been at the time covering. I think Fan. He was getting. I think like fourth quarter, he was getting burned by Fan, and I'm like, bro, like Fan don't even be
Hey,
playing like that.
but listen,
You getting
hey,
burned by him,
you
bro.
know, he had a couple crucial stops.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? Hey, when we needed it,
Yeah.
he
And they
came
were
through.
clean too. Like I ain't gonna say I was looking for the flag, but I was just
I was
praying.
scared on the last one. I was scared on that last one. The last one, I
Praying
was scared.
ain't still yellow. It looked like his left hand hooked him. It looked like his left hand hooked him. I'm like, come on, man. But hey, they ain't call
Yeah.
it. They ain't call it. But yeah,
Hey,
he had those.
hey.
He had those two.
Yeah, he had some huge plays.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
he's coming up. I'm gonna say he's coming up in every game, but when he does have those big plays, they're coming up. Like he had a big fumble in the San Fran game. Like granted, we did lose, but he had a big fumble. He called the big fumble at the goal line with McCaffrey. You know what I'm saying? So he does come up in coverage at time. Like he is big, you know, when he does step up, but you know, I just wish he wasn't getting as burned as he was. But
Stephen White, he did come through. He did come through.
Yeah, he did step up. Yeah,
he came through. Hey, I don't care. You know, hey, what they saying? How you start is how you finish. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And the same thing with DeRon Bland. Like he had a rough game, but he still stepped up and had a pick at the right time. At the best time, honestly. Like granted, that's one thing I don't like. It's one thing. I mean, I'll say like kind of something on both sides. Like one, I hated that they didn't capitalize off of the turnover. But what I do like is that we are able to. I mean, and it's credit to Brandon Aubrey, and it's credit to us being able to move the ball. And granted, we did have the turnover right there pretty much within the red zone. But I like that we are able to pretty much almost score on number one almost every possession, and almost every time we get down the field, because either we score a touchdown or we get a field goal. Like I don't love field goals. I'm not saying I love field goals when we have to, but if we can get points up on the board, I think that's one thing that these guys have checked off the list, that they are able to, number one, get down the field, move the ball, and be able to put points up on the board.
You know another thing I noticed about that Dallas defense, they got heart. Because I'm gonna tell you something, Bland was getting picked on that game. Yes. He didn't fold. In most situations, that cornerback would have folded. His mind would have been out the game.
Absolutely.
It's the world watching. You getting picked on.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? He stayed focused. He stayed strong. He kept. You know what I mean? He did. Yeah. A lot of people would have folded in that moment.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? Then he gave up
in the next half to be able to make a pivotal play like that. Not just because I mean, not saying he could have got a pick anytime during the game, but say if he would have got a pick in the first quarter, second quarter. I'm not saying that wouldn't have made a difference, but I just think it's something about in that right time where we absolutely needed a turnover at that point in time. So for him to, like you said, be able to take that on your back, to not think of the first half, because like you said, that's a hell of a half to have. That's a hell of a.
But you gotta look at it like this though. Who do we have in our conference or that we got upcoming that got receivers that big?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like Philly, like Tyreek is fast, but he's
really the only one I can think of like that has really that size.
Yo, you know what I mean? So like the dude is big and he's like a 4'2", 4'3".
Right,
you know
and
it's
Metcalf. It's Metcalf like that. Like if you, I mean, I'm sure. Like I mean, we saw in previous games, Seahawks weren't getting points like that, this, that, and the third. But we know if you feed Metcalf, he's more than likely he's gonna come down with the ball.
Right, he's a big receiver. We don't gotta worry about that.
DeRon Bland is in the second year. He's still growing. He's still learning.
Right.
And we saw the difference when they put Gilmore on him in the second half. Like I mean, so it's one thing that Gilmore has the experience. So we have to remember that DeRon Bland is still very young and still developing. So
right. Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead, man.
Let me ask you a question. If Dallas was in the playoffs and we had to play Seattle, are you scared?
Nope.
All right then. That's what I'm saying. I feel like that was a fluke.
No. It's not about being scared, fam. But
I know. I'm just saying, like that was a anomaly. That was like, I mean, we played 3 games in 12 days.
And Seattle did too.
You know what I'm saying? I know, but I'm saying, but our defense, like, I think that was something that would probably never happen again. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I just feel like we had a bad game. You know what I mean? I just leave it there. That's all I leave it at. We had a bad game. I don't take nothing from it.
It was tough. like you mentioned earlier, I think Seattle was a great test for us to be able for the Cowboys to go through to come up against a team like Philly, because not saying not every team would have given us their best, but for it to be a team like Seattle, for a team like Seattle to give us their best, and knowing that their best was an actual test, because it could have been. I'm saying the schedule could have been flipped. We could have had the Panthers before going into the Eagles. You know what I mean? So we could have
Yeah.
been, playing a softer team going into Philly. You know what I mean? So
Right.
Philly,
Yeah. Yeah. Which was good. Which was good.
feeling better about ourselves. Blowing them out at home. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah.
I think, like you said, I think it was a good test and a good stepping stone, if you will, because going up against a playoff like I said, a playoff team without not saying that without any consequences. But
Right.
being able to go up against a playoff team, knowing, like you said, like a team like Seattle that most likely will be in the playoffs down the line, you're going to get those kind of scenarios, those kind
Right.
of play
Right.
calling, and those
Another
players.
another
So
thing about Dallas is Dallas hasn't won the Super Bowl in years, but Dallas get the team's best as if they just won the Super Bowl the year before. Dak even said it. We get everybody's best. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Everybody's best. So I don't blame Seattle. I'm glad Seattle put us to the test like that. Because
right.
I'm not gonna lie, when we was down 8, I was starting to kind of get a little.
So 2 times, man, we were down 8 points,
But
and
it was fourth quarter.
in previous years, I ain't gonna say I would have gave up, but I would have been like, look, man, like,
Usually Dallas lose that game.
yes, facts.
We won that game.
The defense wasn't able to get a stop really until those critical moments. The fact that they going into fourth quarter being down, I would have been out on it. I would have been like, all right,
Hey.
well, I guess, you know what I'm saying, like, not what I thought of. I mean, not what I expected. You know what I'm saying, so I would have. It would have been different. Even in what's crazy is, like, not saying, because I'm gonna be honest with you, like, in the game I had confidence, like, knowing that, like, I knew that Dak would make another play, but of course I'm sure, but of course for other fans, but it's more about what the defense was going to be able to do. Like, are they going to be able to get a stop? And even like you mentioned earlier, and like we talked about earlier, with the defense leaving that time on the clock. Like in that moment, I was like, man, why give them another chance? Because we see what they've been doing all game. So, like,
right.
that would be the only moment in the game where I was like nervous, like, of what was going to happen. Like, up until then, I was like, oh, we good. But at that moment, when I think it was like a minute 40 something left, I was like, oh man, like, what's okay? Here go the Cowboys being Cowboys. You know what I mean? But
but when we got the ball back, I knew it was over. I just thought we were gonna run the clock out. I didn't know we were gonna go down there and.
I know. Yeah, I know what I mean. I thought we were gonna do the same thing, run the clock out, because it was right under the 2-minute warning. You know what I'm saying?
So I got the ball back. I was like, yes, it's over. I was thinking it's over. You know what I mean? Like
my first thought was like, why? Like you said, like, why are we running plays? Like, why just run the clock out? But
right.
I like seeing, like, and at the same time, like I said, I like seeing, because I like seeing this new Cowboy. I ain't gonna lie, I like seeing this new offense, like this new. Them being aggressive, them not being afraid to take shots. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's refreshing to see us be different this year.
Nisi, I agree with you. You're right. We would have folded.
For sure, for real.
He'd have been over the coach clap. He'd have been over there clapping, and I was like, man, I'd have turned the TV.
I think we would have had Kellen. We had Kellen, we would have folded. Him calling plays. Because some of these that McCarthy's calling, like, and I love that they were calling quarterback keepers for Dak in this game. Like, I love that they were not afraid to include that in the game. And like, I don't know that much against. I know we've seen Dak convert first downs with Philly, but I think that's because we kind of had off O-line play. But I think if we include some of those in the game plan, I like seeing that for Dak. I like seeing. I just like seeing, keeping it go. I just like seeing him make those plays. Like, it brings confidence to the team. It brings confidence to him. So I love seeing that in this past previous.
That one play he did that on that read option, I was like, oh, Dak, I like the attitude you got, man. But we need you the whole season. We need you to start sliding, man. Hey, man, you might need to slide, man. Don't do this to us, man. Don't give us have a good year and do this. Don't do this to us, man. Don't pull a Romo on us, man. Because we got Romo go down our whole season over with. Don't do this to us, Dak.
That was definitely a one, scary moment, or I would say scary, but nerve-wracking.
Slide, man. Slide.
Yeah. No flipping anymore. After that double flip or whatever in that last Eagles drink, I'm like, bro, keep your feet on the ground.
Yeah, don't do this. Don't do it. Don't do this to us, Dak, man. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, that was crazy. But like I said, I love seeing that. I just like this new aggression that they're showing. I like that I like number one that McCarthy is not afraid to like I said, trusting these guys to take those shots down the field. Even that's something I like, and that's like seeing the Washington game. Like they came out, like granted they were saying because they let the middle of the field open, but I just like seeing them take those shots down the field, starting out aggressive. The first play was a you know what I mean? So just seeing that they're not afraid to go these guys and go and seeing Schoonmaker break tackles, seeing Cooks getting involved, and even with the last game, the Seahawks getting that deep pass for the touchdown. I just like seeing that. And then we seen that in previous year that Dak wasn't afraid to go down the field, but like everyone that I had talked about, we seen Dink and Doug Dak, or even
Right.
with coming into this year, thinking we would see a quick pass West Coast offense. And now we're seeing Dak lead the league and I think what 10 plus 20 plus yard passes down the field. So it's good to see just to see
I,
Dak not only have his command, but to see his confidence go up and to see him even more confident not only in his throws but the guy like he's not afraid to go to these guys on his team and get their
right,
confidence
right,
as well.
right. Two things. I remember we did a show a while ago when I told you that Mike McCarthy need to put his players in position to be good, to do what they're good at. If you
Right,
notice, they're putting Cooks like they're lining him up and using his speed. And
right. They were hardly even using him. They act
another
like they
thing
didn't know
about
how
this
to do
another thing about this offense is they pass to open up the run. They
it.
come
Yeah,
out bombing. They got perfect
right,
schemes. We got
right,
more motion. We got more motion going on. It's just not some pop one on offense. Mike
right.
McCarthy, he done changed this whole thing around. I don't know if Jerry tapped him on the
Yeah,
shoulder and said, "Look, man,
and
you're gonna be up out of here if you
right.
don't get this right."
And
Whatever he
he's
did,
not
whatever he
he's
did.
not
Hey,
afraid.
man,
He's not necessarily criticism, but he's afraid of ideas. He lets the players get what they see on the field in there, and he kind of he kind of lets them hey, like, okay, I'll try that out for you. Hey,
right?
if we get the time here, if we
Yeah.
can do that, I'll implement for you. And if it
Am,
works, hey man,
am
that's
I
good.
wrong? Am I going too far if I say if Dallas go 4-1 in these last games or five, like I'm talking about the gun that they got
I
going
know,
on?
yeah, I
Am I
mean,
am I wrong to say Mike McCarthy might be coach of the year? Am I wrong, man? Am I wrong? Hey, man, am I wrong? Hey, man.
people talk about, and I understand. And I see people talking about D'Amico Ryan, and
Hey,
at the East
am,
Side earlier for his Texans. I
am
see
I
people talking
wrong?
about D'Amico, but like
Am I
I'm
leaping? Am I
because the way
leaping?
because Cowboys have never we've always been talked about, but we've never been talked about in this light to where number one, Dak is playing lights out, and then like not just Dak, but also the team is elevating with him. That they're playing up for him, and I think like I said earlier, the defense can step up and get back to where they were playing earlier in the season. Like Mike McCarthy could very well be in a conversation for
Hey, you got what I'm saying? Dak might be MVP. Coach might be coach of the
Micah
year.
Parsons or even Bland if he not
Defensive.
Bland a bad game, but have a defensive player of the year for the Cowboys
Right.
potentially. Like I think
Yeah.
Micah still leads the league in pressures, so it's,
Yeah,
it's still
but that defensive area still might be on the board because according to how I see the way they talk, they usually give it to the rusher because they have X amount of sacks. He broke this sack record that never been done before. Man,
right.
Bland broke a record that's never ever been done before. So if they was to give it to him, I don't see, you
It
know,
would be every reason for him to get
yeah,
it because
you
he's
gotta
gonna be
you got yeah, you gotta think who played that position.
his
Darrell Green, Deion Sanders, Charles. You
yeah,
gotta think who played that position. This never's been done before.
right. I mean,
So
we got a former defensive player of the year on our team, and he didn't even do that for his. I think they were saying in his season. I think they said he had I think maybe two or three pick sixes on
who?
the
Who?
Gilmore.
I mean, who?
Gilmore.
Gilmore. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
yeah. When because he won it. Yeah, he
yeah,
won it.
I think 2016 or something like that. So and for him to like I said, NFL history. So clearly, not saying that's not a shot, but clearly he hasn't done it. Dion hasn't done it. Like you said, the big
Yeah,
name crews out here. I'm saying like
yeah,
who haven't done it. So it's like you know what I'm saying. So
yeah. So
that's big.
defensive player of the year, MVP, and coach of the year.
Yeah, and,
They're
and
all on
that's
the table.
think about it. I thought about McCarthy for coach of the year last year, honestly, but Kellen did still kind of hold us back in some regards, so we didn't get to see the full implementation. But like you said, for Jerry to finally essentially give in, say, hey man, okay, I'll listen to you. I got rid of my guy. I'm saying, hey, You run it. This is what it's looking like now. Now you've adjusted. We've seen what we implemented. We implemented Cooks. We're feeding CD, but also getting other guys involved. We're not leaving out anybody. We're not, making this CD the star. Everyone's getting involved. Dak is playing, out of his mind. So it's like, yeah, like everything. I ain't gonna say everything's working out. There's still things to be, still things to be fixed. Still for things to be improved. But yeah, definitely, like the way he's changed the culture, the locker room, the mindset, really of the team, the organization, the coaching staff. That he brought in, he even brought in the aspects of analytics, showing that they make a huge impact of what. Hey, even if you go around stealing things, like, hey, or if they want to call it stealing, hey man, we weren't really doing motion like that, but now we implemented motion in almost 80%. Like I think the number is 70% as far as motion and shift so far in the league. You know what I'm saying?
And
So
then our motions is not eye candy. Our motions have a point to that play.
right.
You know what I mean? Like it's a point to that play.
How you doing, fam? Glad you joined us. Good
You know
to
what
see
I mean? You know what I'm saying? Hey, so I want to ask you something. We said we're going. What do you feel about? What are your feelings about Dak being in the MVP race? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you?
I definitely.
I know, but like, why? What is that? You're a biased Cowboy fan, or is that?
I ain't gonna say bias, but I'll of course say because I'm a Cowboys fan, but I won't say that's the sole reason. I say just because, and that's kind of why I brought up before, like about why. That's kind of my own question. Like Dak has always been the leader of the team. Like he's always at command. Like what necessarily was what was holding him back? And I just think that, like I said, having a coach. Not just a coach, but having a team. Not saying he was missing that before, but just having that whole kind of foundation of a team, kind of backing you up. The coaches is literally giving you the full reign of the offense. We saw him calling plays in the preseason game, which was really you don't. And they were talking about it back then. We really didn't see really in the league like that. We rarely saw a quarterback getting in there calling plays, on the sideline in the preseason game. So just seeing that he's able to, kind of set precedents, kind of just, we just kind of see number one, his vision on the field, not when he's not playing. So we see that his intelligence kind of transferred through the quarterback he's playing through, and then also now to see him get on the field and kind of do his thing, like to have the foundation, to have the players playing for him, to have his not only his command of the offense, but he gets to call what he wants and what he doesn't. Even my father said, whatever you don't like, bro, we ain't gonna call. You know what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily, okay, well, I'm gonna have some. You gonna input some. I'm gonna input some, and we putting things together. No, he was like, "Look, Dak, whatever you want, we running." So I'm saying, so it just for him to have kind of like that full trust of his team as a whole, and then also to have the full reign of the offense, just in general. I just think that, I just think it's just been kind of just really just a I don't know how to really put it in a word, but just kind of like the way it's been totally put together this year for Dak. Like it just seems like. Not necessarily finally coming together to I know it's an 8th year and things like that, but I just think that he's finally able to do what he wants at the level of experience that he had at this moment.
Okay, this is how I look at it, because we gotta break it down like this. MVP stand for most valuable player. So if you take the people that they do have in it, the Jalen Hurts, the Brock Purdy's, the Tyreek Hills, and Dak Prescott, those are like the top people, right? So now we got to go to most valuable player. Is Brock Purdy the most valuable player on his team? He's not. So he's crossed out. You know what I'm saying? Because they catching 5 yards and going 50 yards on little screen pads. So you eliminated. You know what I'm saying? Jalen Hurts, yeah, you are the most valuable player on your team, but your stats is way down. Like you got interceptions,
right.
And we're not counting those 13 tush pushes. Yeah, you know what I mean? We're not doing that. You know what I mean? And then Tyreek Hill, that leaves Tyreek Hill. Now I would give it to him if it's not going to go to a quarterback, but then I would give it to Dak because Dak touched the ball every single play. You know what I'm saying? None. That's true. You know what I mean? And I seen a stat.
And he elevates his team, and he elevates those guys to say he puts those guys in those positions. To make those plays.
Take Dak Prescott, the way this Dak Prescott right now. Take him off this team and drop him over there with the 49ers. Man, listen. You could take a lot of quarterbacks away from the 49ers and they'll still be good. We've seen it. We've seen him go to the Super Bowl
last year.
Yeah. Garoppolo, we've seen it. You know what I'm saying? You take Dak off this team, you'll see how good they not.
Right, exactly. Yeah, we see it with just
Eh,
our backup. Like, granted, you can throw Cooper Rush in there, but it's not. I mean,
it's not gonna be the
that was a
same.
whole different scenario with running a different offense and things like
It's
that.
not
But
gonna
we
be the
know
same.
that it's not the same
It's not the
when it's
same.
not
That's why I
that.
feel like it's Dak Prescott. And like I was getting ready to say, I seen a stat that somebody put up. I forgot where I seen it. It might have been on Twitter or something. I seen a stat that at this time, the year Aaron Rodgers won an MVP, Dak's stats is way better.
Wow.
You see
And
what I'm
right now
saying?
he's
You see what
definitely
I'm
he's
saying?
leading. Yeah, he's leading. I think he's leading in
I think it's his to lose. Put it
pass
like that.
percentages. He's
I
leading
put it
in
like that.
completion
I think
and
I think I think
touchdown.
it's I think it's his to lose. That's
Yeah.
what I think. I think right now it's his, and based off these last, he can't just slide the
Right.
next games. But if he just
Right.
played consistently the way he's been playing, I think it's his to lose. And I think if you take Dak Prescott off his jersey and take that star off of it, I think he the MVP already.
Yeah.
It's just that his
Yeah.
name Dak Prescott and he played for the Cowboys, and we can't allow that. We you know what I mean? Because that'll kill their whole narrative. All that
Yeah.
stuff y'all talking, it got to go now. You know what I mean? Like he my MVP. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I'm rooting for him.
I agree. Like you said, he's the most valuable player on the Cowboys. Like you said, he elevates the team to just a whole nother level. And
Yeah,
the way he's
that's
playing,
the MVP. Yeah, and if you
yeah,
get it, you got to get Mike McCarthy the coach of the year.
right.
You got
Like,
to.
for
It
him
go
to be
hand in hand.
because if I think I ain't gonna say if it wasn't for Mike, it would be for Dak. But if it wasn't for Mike putting that trust in him, like who knows that we would even seen this kind of potential from Dak? Because
Right.
like I said, he's never had this full control on the
Right.
offense in his hands.
Right. Right.
Yeah, so
I think
that's
we good. I think
yeah,
we good.
yeah,
I think we
yeah.
good. I think it's
Going
gonna be a
into
good. What we play Sunday night prime time.
Sunday night,
You know what I'm
fam.
saying?
Yeah, you
So
already know.
you know what I mean. Yeah, we're gonna have a
Yeah,
good. It's gonna be a good day for us. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
It's
You
gonna
know
be
what I
a
mean?
great day. Yeah, we get to relax all day and then see our win on Sunday night. You know,
I
go
got a
on to
question for you though. I got a question for you before you go. So because I'm kind of confused right now. So if Dallas win Sunday, we go to we're leading the division, right?
yeah,
But San Francisco has a conference.
right, exactly.
So
We
San
had an
Francisco
NFC
goes to number one, right?
no San Fran. No, actually,
They go to number one.
Philly will still be number one because San Fran still they
Nah,
play.
we have the same record, and Philly got the tiebreaker. They beat both of us. They
I
have the
don't
same
think
record.
I don't know if they go to number one though. I think
Yeah, because they beat us head. They beat them head to head.
but
Philly would go to 5.
the San Fran might have might have more NFC losses than Philly though. It depends on who they
Nah,
lost to in that 3
they
games.
lost to like Cincinnati. They lost to. I don't think they lost to no NFC teams like that. Because they only got three.
I don't
Only
know
got
off the
three
top of my
losses.
head. I know they said that the Eagles will still lead the conference, even if they lose this weekend, they will still lead. They will still lead the conference. I mean, I don't know because San Fran plays Seattle on Sunday.
If San Francisco win and Dallas win, Eagles go to 5. Dallas go to the 5th seed.
I think Eagles will go to 2.
No,
I mean, like,
no. Because if you win your division, you get a home game. You got to think the Lions is over there. You know what I'm saying? So that means San Francisco will be number 1. If Dallas win the division, Dallas get a home game. So that means Philly will go to 5. Yeah. So we gotta handle our business. We gotta handle this business.
But I don't know. I don't know as far as I don't know how San Fran fits in there because I've been following Eagles and Cowboys, but I know they say that if Eagles lose, even if we beat Philly, we would be ahead in the division, but Eagles would still be leading the conference. But I don't know what that means for San Fran. I don't know San Fran's record offhand and nothing like that.
They can't be because they beat us head to head and they got no NFC losses.
Let me look it up right quick.
Yeah, San Francisco will go to number 2. I mean, they'll go to number 1. The Lions will be number 2. No. I know Dallas will be leading the division, and I think San Francisco will be leading the conference. If they win. They can't lose to Seattle, but then, because then Philly will still be number 1 because they got less conference losses than us.
That's what I'm saying. Like Philly was still because we had the Cardinals.
See, San Francisco will be number 1. See, San Francisco will be number 1. See, San Francisco will be number 1 because they beat both of us. But if they lose to Seattle, then and we beat them, then it changes. So San Francisco probably end up with the number 1 seed.
Beating us though, so how would it change?
If San Francisco win, because they play a division opponent, so they got to play. They play Seattle, right?
Yeah. On
So
Sunday,
if they win and then we beat Philly, we go to we lead the division, but San Francisco be leading the conference.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Then Philly playing catch up. You know what I'm saying? But we can't drop no
Well,
game because
no, because Philly can still win. They're not necessarily paying catch up because they can still win out and then still win the division.
I don't think they're gonna win out though.
We gotta hope they drop a game. Even if we do beat them, we still gotta hope they drop a game.
That would be their fourth loss. Yeah, I think Philly gonna lose again though.
I mean, I do too. I think either the Cardinals or Giants. I'm just saying that even if we do beat them on Sunday, we still need them to drop another game. Is what I'm saying for us to be able to win the division. But I'm agreeing with you. I do think that I think that the Cardinals or the Giants will catch them slipping late in the season.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm not saying Washington is equal to Philly, but if they were able to beat Washington and that D line and with DeVito having something to prove. I'm saying being a new quarterback, they still have Barkley, they still have that defense. Granted, they lost Leonard Williams to the Seahawks, but I think they still have a viable defense. It just depends on what their offense does. Like, the offense isn't really doing a lot, but like it is a divisional opponent. It is a divisional opponent, and the Cardinals, they do have Kyler Murray back. Like I don't know if what's his name?
Seattle might beat San Francisco. Seattle might beat San Francisco.
I can see Seattle.
They desperate.
And Philly still got to play. And Philly still got to play Seattle too.
Oh, the Eagles got to play Seattle?
Yeah, they haven't played them yet.
No, I just seen Tyron Church say the Eagles still haven't played Seattle.
No, not Philly. Philly hasn't played them yet.
Do they play them this year though?
Yeah, this year. Yeah.
Okay.
NFC East. Yeah, NFC East plays the NFC West this year, so they just haven't got to them yet.
Oh yeah, they're gonna lose again.
I think after us is I don't know the order, nothing like that, but I think after us is Seahawks and then the Giants twice and Arizona once. That's their remaining schedule.
What Dallas need to do is beat Philly and make them crumble. Because if Philly beat us, they get their confidence back. They go beat Seattle, then go beat. We need to just beat them, make their whole confidence crumble. Right. Because I seen
like big time say like I don't know. I'm not saying they will. I'm not saying they will get beat by Arizona or Giants. I'm saying I think they could catch them slipping, but
they are
playing for the draft.
We just talking though. I want Dallas to win all their games. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
I ain't depending on Philly.
Like someone mentioned earlier, Seahawks got to win out just to get to the playoffs. So they're gonna be playing like they played us. I think they'll be playing like that.
Yeah. We'll put it like this: Jalen Hurts won't be taking no games off. Jalen Hurts won't be taking no games off. Put it like that. You ain't gonna be sitting out. We're gonna make you play all year. You ain't gonna sit out no game, 2 games, get healthy. You playing
maybe that last Giants game. I don't know. But
if the seeding is already locked up.
Yeah.
If the seeding is locked up.
And that could really be for our side too, because I know we see some NFC teams down the stretch, but like you said, we beat them and then we see Philly maybe drop because they play Seattle that next week. So it could be be decided as early week 15, week 16, just depending on how they play and who's looking like what. You know what I'm saying?
Now that you go, now that we look back and the season is starting to get to the end of the season.
Yeah.
That Arizona loss starting to hurt more and more. Because if all these teams had to come to Dallas and we got the number 1 seed, oh man.
It'll be done. It'll be no question, but
that Cardinal loss starting to hurt, man. That Cardinal loss starting to hurt.
Yeah, it hurt before now, honestly. I mean,
but it hurt more. It hurt more now because I'm looking at how it's playing out.
That's the big game, James. He said it. Back then when we lost that game, he knew it would come back. Come back to bite us in the butt.
It is now. Yes. We'd be fighting for the number 1 seed. And Dallas is 14, 15 at home. That means all y'all got to come through Big D. Yep.
And that was a home. No, that was actually in Arizona, but even still, we shouldn't have lost that game. That's fair. We shouldn't have lost that game. Shout out to Bruce in the building. Yeah, he said we beat Philly and Seattle beats Philly. The division is ours. Yeah, that's like I
hope so. Because if you win the division, you're guaranteed a home game. So that means Atlanta or I don't know if Green Bay gonna get in. I don't know who's gonna be in over there, but
I think maybe the Rams will probably sneak in. They'll probably get that 7th spot.
Whoever come to Dallas getting smoked.
It will be because like you said, we get that first round. we get that first round bye, then we'll be facing the lowest seed. So
Yeah, I mean, y'all got to come here. That's why that Cardinal loss starting to hurt.
yeah,
It's starting to hurt, man. It's starting to
yeah.
hurt. It's starting to
We
hurt.
definitely shouldn't have lost that game, but it's. I mean, that's usually what it seems to come down to. We usually leave our destiny in other teams' hands at the end of the
Yeah.
season. I never really liked that about the Cowboys, but I mean,
Yeah.
you
I
should be
would have
used to.
rather lost to the Jets. Beat the Cardinals, lose to the
Yeah,
Jets.
but honestly, if we just take, I ain't gonna say take our business next 2 weeks, but if we do what we're supposed to do tomorrow, it all starts from there. You know what I'm saying? If we do what we're supposed to do, not starting tomorrow, but starting
Sunday. I got
starting
you. I
Sunday.
feel you. I got you.
Thursday beginning the football week, my bad. But yeah, if they do what they're supposed to do, starting Sunday, and going forward with these games coming up. But we see now looking ahead, what we see Buffalo, isn't what, like you said, the gauntlet isn't like the gauntlet anymore. Buffalo isn't looking like Buffalo at times. We see Miami has some faults. You know what I'm saying? They are gonna be tough. We see Miami have faults. We see the Lions have their faults. So
the only thing I don't like about this is Dallas played that last game. So Dallas might see one of them teams done lost or something, and like now they feel like, you know what I mean. I need them to. I don't know.
We just talking about like if we do what we're supposed to do and things happen, if knock on wood, things happen to fall our way and we able to slow this thing up by week 15, 16, and Philly they able to drop in, but we still have to win to be able to maintain. But if we somehow get the division, I could see us kind of not sitting back. I can see because McCarthy definitely playing well for this time period right now. They're playing it right now, so I can see him planning ahead. He definitely, and even Dan Quinn kind of mentioned it today in his press conference that he kind of has like that long view. He's definitely good at planning ahead. Having really the best interest for these guys mentally and physically. So I can see him planning. Whatever the scenario is going to be, whether 15, 16, or even if it does come down to week 17 or 18. I think he's going to be able to plan well enough for these guys to be able to adjust. What he has to do, what they have to do in the scenarios, and be able to.
I think they're ready. I think Dallas knows what's ahead of them. I think they want to kill this narrative. You know what I mean? I think they want Philly. You know what I mean? That might be a reason they was the Seattle. I'm looking for reasons to say why they might have been looking forward to Philly. You know what I mean? Like
I think they want, like they said, what they say. They want the smoke. They want all the energy. They want like McCarthy said, carpe omnia, seize everything. Like they don't want to leave nothing to chance. They want everything that comes across that field to like D-Law said. You line up, you get effed up. Like, hey, y'all want it, you can get it too.
Just keep the penalties down, because we had a lot of penalties too. That's we didn't touch on that. But you know what I mean? Hey, but listen, we got to stop them penalties, man. And then it almost bit us again. That same thing that happened in the Philly game when we were all the way down there on like first and 10 or first and 15 or something. The same thing happened over here when we got down there. It's like, bro, stop these penalties, man.
In huge moments, like I guess, I mean, it is one thing. Like it's one thing to have a penalty, but for you to have like 3-4 times in a row, like back-to-back drives, it's like, come on. Like Big Time says, yeah, I believe that. We've been.
I think we're in playoff mode. I think we're in playoff mode. I think these is playoff games, man.
Like they have really put together like this crazy, like I think like we were talking about earlier, everything just kind of been gelling together at the same time. Like play calling, the aggressiveness, like Dak playing well, getting everybody involved, like they're just clicking at the same time.
I think we're good to go.
Yeah. I think coming up.
I think we're gonna have a good Monday. I think Monday is gonna be good. Yeah, I think all the TV shows gonna be good to watch. All the ESPN, they're gonna be hating. They say we couldn't beat a good. That's the narrative right now. They can't beat a good team. So hey, I just want to get this out because they said.
Imagine when we blow them out. Then what they really gonna say?
No. But do you remember how it started though? Before we go, do you remember how it started? At first, before this, they said Washington is gonna be they gave Philly a good. It was Washington. Then they said, oh, Seattle's the first team with over 500. We beat Seattle, but now they're 500. They're not that good of a team. You know what I'm saying? So who we got to beat? So we just go down here and beat Philly and watch the narrative change again.
All right. They can't change after that. They're the number one team right now. So that's the question we're going to leave, heading out here. What kind of spin can they put on Dallas Cowboys whooping the number one team in the NFL? Or in the NFC. I'll say NFC because we ain't talking about AFC and all that. The number one team in the NFC. What they gonna spin on the narrative if when Cowboys whoop the number one team?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be good. The way me and you can't think of right now, that's how good it's gonna be. Cause they gonna find it. It's gonna find it. Jalen Hurts was hurt. He He has still had a concussion from the last game.
Right, exactly.
He didn't go through concussion protocol all the way. You know what I'm saying?
Dallas Goedert coming back from injury.
Yeah.
He wasn't slow. He wasn't 100%.
It's gonna be a whole bunch of
Fletcher Cox got banged up.
yeah. It's gonna be a whole bunch of stuff. No. You know what they're gonna say? I know what they're gonna say. I already know what they're gonna say. They tell us every year. All they're gonna get on national TV and say is that's okay. Y'all good. Y'all play good in November, December. You know what I mean? What y'all gonna do in the playoffs? What y'all gonna do? What y'all gonna do in the playoffs?
Every time.
Dak always play good in November and December. Especially Stephen A. Smith. Dak always play good. What they gonna do in December? They gonna do cowboy things.
They ride that, and that's the only thing they can ride on. Like what they gonna do in the playoffs, and they're lucky because they're really on borrowed time, honestly. Because when they get to the playoffs and they do it, then what you gonna do?
I said that. You know what I mean? It's a lot of quarterbacks. Good. Dan Marino. I think Dan Marino win on Super Bowl.
No, 0 rings.
Yeah, but see when that you see.
They try hard, and that's I ain't gonna say that's fair, but that's what you gotta do. You gotta wait to playoffs. You gotta let the season ride out. You gotta take it 1 week at a time, and you gotta wait till the playoffs actually do get here. But like you said, like they gonna keep moving until they can't move them no more.
Yeah. I'm gonna text you Monday morning after I see the narrative. You're gonna laugh.
Right. Bro, look up Monday night, fam.
I'm gonna text you Monday morning.
Celebrating, fam. All right, y'all. Look, we done gave y'all damn near 2 hours prior content. We really
I appreciate you having me. I appreciate you having me on here.
So before we get out of here, make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the share button. Make sure you guys show love to my fam, Sports Junkie, on his channel. Make sure you go over to his platforms, hit the like, hit the share button, hit subscribe if y'all not already subscribed by now. Y'all late, you know what I'm saying? But hey, thank you guys for showing us love tonight. Forgive me for my speaking, y'all, but thank y'all for showing love tonight. Thanks for coming through. Try to catch us next week. Me and Star, she was kind of under the weather, so hopefully we'll be back with Star Chasers next week. But like I said, make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the share button for you guys to get out of here. We'll catch y'all next time. Thanks for joining us.